Silicon Valley, technology, art, green, and sustainability.
Welcome to another episode of Silicon Valley Tech, Art, Green, and Sustainability. Today I have with me a world famous artist, I'm going to say, because people come from all over the world to see your stuff, to learn from you, and I'm so happy you're here. Janice Arnold, thank you. Thank you so much
Heather,
for coming.
for inviting me.
Yeah.
This is great.
You have some exciting stuff coming up in San Francisco, a new art exhibit.
Yes.
But before we go there, tell us about you. Can you tell us about your background, where you're from?
Sure.
Are you from California?
No, I grew up in Vancouver, Washington, and have traveled a lot throughout my life, but always come back to the Pacific Northwest. Youngest of four. My father was a cartographer. My mom was a professional homemaker. And as I remember, my earliest memories of my childhood were being the youngest member of the Arnold family survey crew. So a lot of my artwork is informed by this.
Okay, and tell us what a survey crew is.
Survey
I know
crew,
what it is because I know you, but
right. So my father was a cartographer, which means he drew maps. And so every weekend we would take a family trip and go measure roads. And I would hold the surveyor's tape and sometimes drop it. But then I would go back to watch my dad take those measurements and draw them with, India ink on his linen mylars. And I learned about my sense of scale.
And was that okay for him, for you to do that? Or
totally.
did he say, no, you can't draw on those?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I would watch him and learn this aesthetic of black and white as he's drawing on ink on mylar.
And so Oregon and Washington, did he map both places? He trekked you all over the place?
Well, it was pretty regional. So we would do city and county maps. But he took his art form really seriously and he was a cartographer by night and a civil engineer by day.
Oh, so I didn't know that. Interesting.
Yes.
And then where did you go to college, or did you go to art school, or?
No, I'm self-educated. Basically, I've always been a maker. My parents gave us tools, not toys. And so we learned to make things with our hands. I learned how to sew by altering my older sister's clothing, and I really gained my sense of self through making.
I used to love to sew when I was a kid. And I would buy stuff at the thrift store and remake things, and
exactly
before it was trendy to do that, and
right.
So interesting.
I sort of did that out of necessity. I was the youngest of four, so there wasn't a lot to always go around. So I became creative.
And then, so tell us about your artwork and the beautiful felt. How did you get started in this?
Well, yeah, that's another story that's pretty interesting in itself. But just to jump to the chase, I'm working on this solo exhibition in San Francisco. That is the first big solo exhibitions that I've done in a long time, and it's all about felt and about wool. And so I'm very excited because it seems like more and more people are looking at origins and materials and wondering where their things came from. They're wondering who made them. And as far as sustainability goes, wool doesn't get any more sustainable. I mean, I say that the art that I make is a product of grass, sunlight, and water. So
tell us the process. How does it work?
Well, you'll have to come and see the show.
Okay, yeah.
It's one of those things where it's difficult to describe because felt is actually our first fabric, which means that it came before knitting and weaving and spinning. And it's based on matting wool or matting fiber.
So it's kind of like making paper.
It is.
But
right. So I brought some fiber here to
let's check it out.
Yes. So this is a breed of sheep called Wensleydale, and it's very strong. I'm going to have you hold a sheep.
Wow. Okay. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, let's
it's
just
beautiful.
try this
it
again.
feels beautiful
I want
too.
you to pull again.
Okay. Oh wow. Interesting.
So the Wensleydale is a specific breed that actually has a very long staple.
Okay.
There's hundreds
I don't know
of
if we can get a
breeds.
close-up of this.
There's hundreds of breeds of sheep. So everything I make starts out in this form, this fiber, very wispy fibers that are very ethereal actually, but it can turn into material that's dense and thick like this. So this show is about...
I know, I was using this as a fan a few
Yeah,
minutes
I
ago.
know.
It's so thick and yeah.
Right. So the show
And
is
if you can
about...
get a close-up of that too, the layers.
that it's the versatility of wool. And here's also a very thin, ethereal piece, also same material.
Okay, here, let's hold this up so someone else, because he's on this
Right.
one right now. Let's
Right.
hold this up. Can we get a close-up
So-
of that maybe on the...
This is a sample piece from my immersive piece at the exhibition.
Here, I'm going to actually put it on me here so you can
Hey,
see it
that
goes
looks
right
great.
through, right?
Nice, yeah. Very transparent, only wool and indigo dyed fibers. It's two kinds of wool, this merino, there's merino and Wensleydale. But to tell you the process is basically taking the
And this is
fibers-
another little
Yes,
brick of
that's-
it, I want to say.
Yes.
Right? It looks like it's just amazing.
Right.
It looks like a painting, right? If you look at the...
It is. It's like a geode when you cut through these thick slabs. So what inspired me to do this show in the way that I did is because your question of how do you make felt
Right.
is very hard to describe. It is, we don't have visual vocabulary. In Central Asia, where felt is from, they have like 100 words for the process, just like in snow country, they have lots of words for snow. But the basic principle is wool, moisture, and a lot of hard work.
rolling and
Rolling
matting
and
and hitting
matting.
it almost like you're kneading
Beating it
bread
up.
or something.
Yeah, it's an our very archaic process. And I call wool nature's technology because the sheep actually evolved this ability to live in cold climates and stay warm and desert climates to stay cool, all because of this hair.
Because of the insulation.
Right.
I'm going to pull up the first slide. We have some beautiful slides. So here, tell us on the right there, that's kind of like what we were just looking at a second ago.
So these are two pieces from some early work I'd done showing again the transparency and the interactivity of the fiber with the environment. And then on the left is a very thick felt, but done as a wearable.
A wearable, and it's so beautiful. And you can go to the website, you can see some different colors there
Right.
too. It's
Yeah.
so beautiful. We can pull that down.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so beautiful. And I think it was about a year and a half ago we went to Marin to your opening there.
Right.
And you had a yurt, and we're going to see
Right.
that in a couple minutes.
Yeah.
And it's just so amazing what you can do with it.
Right.
Let's pull up another slide really quickly right now too. And so here's some more colors and textures.
So one of the things about felt is that it is reversible.
So tell us about these two here.
Right. So
on the right,
on the right is those cut edges of a thick slabs of felt that I make that are 1.5 inches thick and then cut, sliced, and you see the layers of all the natural colors.
so that piece we're looking at, is that a really tall piece, or is that a small one, a close-up of
That's
it?
a close-up of a slab bench that I did for the Gates Foundation a few
Okay.
years ago.
Okay.
And on the other side shows the reversibility of and the bright colors you can get when you hand make felt.
It's beautiful.
So those edges, those live edges, are actually showing the color from the opposite side.
We can pull that down. So how long does a typical project take you?
That's a good question. So it can range, I mean, an exhibition, I've been working on this exhibition for 1.5 years. An actual project, when I'm designing fabric from start to finish, can be anything from a week to several months. But I want to say that a lot of people, one of the things that I am striving to do through my art is to really open up the perceptions and challenge perceptions of what people think of as felt. This is the kind of felt that most people
Right,
think
this
of.
is what most people will think of,
Right.
that you get construction
From the craft
stuff
store.
from working
Right.
with kids or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is actually not even wool. This is a material,
Polyester,
polyester. It's been needle punched. and
highly flammable.
Highly flammable,
Yeah.
and also it pills and doesn't look very nice over time. So sometimes people have preconceived notions about felt that I'm hoping through this exhibition to dispel, as well as bring in a new group of people who appreciate technology.
And where's the exhibition again?
At the Museum of Craft and Design in San
Francisco.
Francisco. It's the only museum that focuses on craft and design in San Francisco. And they also love process, so it's been a really amazing collaboration with the museum. And it's sponsored by Woolmark, which is an international wool organization, and we share a lot of common goals in educating people about wool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pull up the next slide too, which I called them eggs, but I guess they're rocks. So these are beautiful.
Yes, these are felted boulders.
And are they large or are
They're
they
very large.
Okay.
Yeah, the stone on the right is probably 15 inches wide, and they're not as heavy as they look. They're actually, I felt around an inner core, and I use them as pin cushions and
we could pull
decor.
that down. They're just so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Thank you.
So how long does something like that take you to
I
make?
can